Assalamu alaikum. Before I begin, I'd like to acknowledge that I am speaking to you today from the unceded territory of the Coast Salish peoples, including the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. I would also like to thank the Al Sihan Education Foundation and the Al Jumaam Masjid and countless volunteers for organizing tonight's memorial to honor the victims and their families of the Quebec City Mosque Attack. Thank you to Mufti Asim Bilal and to Haroon for taking leadership roles to actively fight and address Islamophobia. I would also like to acknowledge my colleagues from the Lower Mainland, Minister Carla Quattro, Member of Parliament Sukh Dhaliwal, Ken Hardy, and Randeep Sarai for their engagement with the Muslim community and their continually presence in community partnership and local representation that they always create. I'd also like to thank my colleague and very good friend, Honorable Bardish Chagger, Minister of Diversity, Inclusion, and Youth, for joining us today, all the way from Ontario, in remembrance of a very important day. And thank you for your leadership and your guidance on tackling such difficult issues. As we think of about Ibrahim, Mahmoudou, Khalid, Abu Bakr, Abu Del Karhim, and Asdeen, and hold their loved ones in our thoughts, we cannot forget that hatred, bigotry, and Islamophobia has no place in Canada. 6 lives, 6 families are grieving. A country is in shock. Today is not only about remembrance, it's about action. We need tangible changes, sincere dialogue, concrete steps to build our communities and neighborhoods so that Islamophobia, bigotry, and prejudice do not fester and grow. It's a difficult act to weed out these thoughts and those who inflame them. But we as fellow Canadians and allies, we have a responsibility to fight for this. There isn't one single action that can cause this change. It is slow, it is painful, and it is difficult. Because as we can see today, it is often the victims of these horrific crimes that have to push to keep this dialogue moving, and this can be exhausting. But we are all Canadians, and Canada is home. The diversity in our community, in our country, makes us stronger, but we have to fight for it every single day. Change can seem slow. Eradicating ignorance takes time, and a community coming together and learning together takes effort. Regardless of how long it takes or the effort that will be needed, we will not rest until the visceral hate is eradicated from our society, because we will do this together. Tonight, I see many familiar faces and names who have come together to share in their grief to combat Islamophobia. Whether it is coming to the masjid to pay respects after the Quebec City Mosque Attack, or holding a rally at the Vancouver Art Gallery in the wake of the massacre at Christ Church. Time and time again, the community has to come together in the face of violence and hatred. And I see the green squares throughout my screen on the lapels of many of you. This simple act is not only an act of remembrance, it is a pledge to honor and in solidarity with all the victims and their families, a pledge to the 6 women who have lost their partners, a pledge to the 17 children who have lost their fathers, a pledge to Iman, who has been left paralyzed for the rest of his life after this act of terror. Each and every one of us as Canadians have to fight for our friends and for our neighbors. to stand up against Islamophobia whenever and wherever we see it, to call out innuendos, insinuations, and bigotry, and to listen and to learn from each other's experiences. I pledge to do that. We will be there for you as we continue to build a more accepting Canada. Thank you very much.